So first, really what I want to do is just go over the quick W's. You know, the who is eligible, what are the categories and what's changed this year, when is the deadline, where can I enter, and then why enter. So let's start from the bottom up, and let's talk briefly about ways you can leverage your contest entries. So publications enter our contest for a variety of reasons. Some like to recognize their staff and really show them how much they're valued and how much they value the work that's produced for the organization. We do have some really competitive categories, so the wins are pretty significant. Some publications like to publicize their wins to their readership. So those publications taking home the top prize of News Organization of the Year always like to crow about that. But many members print the press release and the list of winners within their publication. Other members like to showcase their advertisers. So I have some pubs who actually create certificates of the winning ads and present them to their advertisers, really just to underscore the unique value of their ad design service and the publication's value. And then finally, people like to enter the contest really because it shows up your best work. You're able to gain ideas and understand what other people are doing in the marketplace. So all of you, I think, have entered the contest previously. Am I getting that right?
I have.
Okay.
Yes, we have too, thanks.
Terrific. Well, I hope this gives you a couple new ideas on how you might use those entries and those wins. So let's just briefly chat about who's eligible. So the long and short is that any staffer or freelancer of an MDDC member organization, obviously they have to be in good standing and have paid their dues, they can enter the contest. And also, we have a specific division just for SPJ members. And so if you're a member in good standing for Maryland Pro, DC, or Delaware Pro, you certainly can enter. I would let you know that if you are freelancing for a member publication, you will want to enter your work through that or identified with that member publication. If you are an SPJ member and you've freelanced elsewhere, that's somewhere that's not an MDDC member, you can enter in the SPJ division. Does that make sense to you guys?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So we are on an annual contest cycle, so the work must have been published in 2019. For advertising design awards, you may enter ads that are designed by subcontractors or outside companies, but the idea must have come from the publication itself. So if you are contracting out for ad design, you may enter those ads. Your staff, though, the staff of the publication must have germinated the idea. I did want to note that we do have 8 circulation divisions in the contest, and they're based on circulation so that you're competing against similarly sized organizations. So a first place is chosen in each division of the category, and then the first place winners in each category compete against one another for the Best in Show award. So if you go to the MDDCpress.com website and just browse under Contests and Awards and go to Contests, everything you need to know about the contest is on this page. So are the links to everything. So you can download the contest packet, go straight to the portal, and all the rules and details are listed here. If you don't want to download a contest packet, you can click for the full category listings. So let's go back up to the combined packet. If you want to be specific, you can download just the advertising or the editorial. We're going to do the full packet. And again, it's printable. Facts Matter is our theme for not only the contest, but for 2020. So look for that on all of our materials. First page really just shows you the editorial divisions. Design and revenue only have 3 divisions because it tends to be a smaller category. Okay, so we're just going to scroll down, and there are 3 sections of categories: revenue and promotion, design, and editorial. So let's talk about revenue and promotion first. This year, we've really focused those categories and have best event, community service campaign, advertising program, and others. So this is a way that you can highlight what you're doing to further your own marketing for your publication, and then also some of the events and ideas that you have to bring in revenue. We also, in addition to the advertising events and things like that, you can highlight your personnel with our Top Salesperson of the Year Award and our Sales Rookie of the Year. And those 2 personnel awards honor one person across all divisions. And so when we get into the contest, all those categories are coded with an R. Now in design, let's just scroll on in. And actually, before we run away to design, any questions or things you want to highlight or ask about in the revenue categories? Okay, hearing none, we'll move on to design. So there's categories for advertising design and also news-driven design. We've streamlined the number of categories in advertising design, and we've also, in years past, each of these categories, like restaurant and entertainment and retail, would have had a subcategory for online and multimedia. This year, we've just consolidated those categories to be standalone. So you have a specific category for online-only ad as well as multimedia ad. The news-driven design has stayed the same as it was in years past. All the categories for design are coded with a D, as you see here. We have a section for targeted publications, and so these are going to be advertising-driven special sections, editorially-driven special sections, custom publications if you're doing work for the chamber or another entity, and we also have a category for special niche websites. So moving on to editorial, which is really the most numerous categories, we've broken them down by subject. So there's a section for online or mobile-only work, beat reporting, you can see up there, commentary, features, photography, sports, and video. So if you're doing more video work, we have several categories specifically for video now, and we also have relatively new categories for general social media reporting and interactive media and things like that. The editorial committee governs the editorial side of the conference, and the advertising side governs the advertising side. And so every year those committees are assessing the categories and fine-tuning them. I do want to note that each year in the editorial category we have a wild card, and that topic changes each year. This year it's immigration in communities, and so it can be a pretty wide-ranging topic, but it truly is how immigration affects local communities. So and just one more note about personnel awards. Just as we have personnel awards in advertising and revenue generation, we have them in editorial. That would be Editorial Rookie of the Year. And to jump back up to design for a second, we do have Designer of the Year. And Designer of the Year, just like Salesperson of the Year, is an annual award, so you don't need to think of it as a lifetime achievement. It really is to honor the body of work or the accomplishment of that contest cycle year. So I feel like that's a lot of information. I just want to pause for a second and check in with everyone. Is this, do you have any specific questions about what we're going over or any other information you want me to share? Okay.
I don't have any yet. I may have some later, but I don't have any right now.
All right, then I'm going to charge on ahead. So in our personnel categories, we're looking at, this is the Editorial Rookie of the Year, Designer of the Year, Salesperson of the Year, and Sales Rookie of the Year. Now, I really do want to draw your attention to our organization-wide awards. We have 4 of those. One is General Website Excellence. The second is the James S. Keat Freedom of Information Award. And then we have 2 newer awards, Courage in Journalism and Best Moves. So General Website Excellence, we have a panel, and these 4 awards are judged by a panel, separate panels for different awards. General Website Excellence, they're assessing each website on those 5 criteria that you see in front of you. The James S. Keat Freedom of Information Award is really focused on the body of work that your publication is doing with public records. So it's not meant for one spectacular article, because you can put that in public service reporting or investigative or whatever category it best fits in. But this award is really meant to span the whole your trajectory of the year. Our Courage in Journalism Award is an award that we established last contest cycle in the wake of the Capitol Gazette shootings. So it honors acts of courage in journalism and strength in adversity while uncovering truth, and is awarded at the judge's discretion. So there may be years where we don't award that. And then this year, we've created Best Moves, which honors the most important thing your organization did this year. The idea could be from any part of your organization, and as something new and different at the annual conference, we're going to convene a roundtable of selected ideas, and the audience will vote on the winner at the event itself. So that should be kind of fun. So there's a description of every category in the packet, and you can download it. I want to now get down to the nitty-gritty. We are going to go into the contest portal, and actually I am going to just reinforce that everything is at our MDDC press page. And you can go to the contest portal. The link is right here, and it's betternewspapercontest.com/2019 MDDC-contest. So this is our contest portal. Again, it recaps a lot of information that we've talked about already. But I do want to highlight the deadline, which is January 26th. Now, that's a Sunday, and the contest is open until 11:59 p.m. So you do have that extra weekend if you need it. And what we'll do now is enter the contest. So here on this screen, you will select your media organization. If you're entering as a freelancer or SPJ member, you need to call me so I can set you up as your own publication. I've set up a test or a sample one on my own publication, and so I'm going to have my password. If you don't remember your password, if you're a contest manager and have been for years and forget your password, just click Forgot Password, and it'll send a reset link to the email of the contestant manager. If you don't know who your contestant manager is, email me. I'll be able to look on the back end, figure it out, and we'll get you access. Now, I also just want to draw your attention to the fact that we're logging in as a contestant manager. Some publications choose to create authorized entrants, which means that several people can enter the contest, can input entries. The contestant manager is like the team captain, and the authorized entrants have some ability, but not full, like they can't revoke access for people and change the password and things like that. You all with me so far? Okay.
I am. I had my phone muted.
That's fine. I just want to make sure everybody's alive and well out there. So if you want to go to your account page, you can certainly do that. We're just going to skip over that right now. Here is essentially what I think of the dashboard. The things that you're going to want to go in most are My Contest. We're at the Manage Entries page. You can also submit submit an entry. And My Account allows you to change your password and do some different things there. Contest information, that's going to be the rules, the categories, contacts, and so forth. So I think you'll really stay in this Manage Entries place. So if you were doing this for the very first time, a pop-up would come up and say, hey, you haven't entered anything yet. Would you like to submit an entry? Because I've already submitted something, it's just taking me to the dashboard page. So we're going to now submit an entry. So in this screen, and I do, again, want to remind you that in our 8 divisions, you want to make sure that your publication is represented in the correct division. Sometimes publication circulation changes, and maybe I'm no longer in Division A, but I'm in Division B. So just spot check it. It's up in this area here. And if you find that you're in the wrong division, let me know. So we're just going to walk through these drop-downs. We're creating our new entry. First drop-down is division, and it's super easy because you only have one choice. It's general. That's a piece of, that's just a quirk of the Better BNC system, and that's not anything to do with your circulation. And now you're going to use the drop-down to select what category you want to enter. Now, I think it's a great practice to organize all of your submissions ahead of time so you speed up this entry process, because this is the really boring part, that you're just inputting entry after entry. And if you recall, all design categories start with a D, all editorial categories start with an E, and all revenue categories start with an R, and targeted publications start with a T. So let's just choose new business concept wildcard. And so it'll bring up a little description of the category. You're going to type in your headline or the entry title. Now, I do have to tell you that whatever you put in the headline or in this field is likely what will appear in the awards presentation and in the publication if this entry is a winner. So any misspellings, any errors, I look for them, but it's a mail merge. That's where we kind of just roll with what we have sometimes. we might not catch it. You choose the run date, and remember, if all work needs to be done within the contest cycle of 2019. If you're entering, say, a category that has a series, the last publication of the series needs to occur in the contest year. So if you have, a 6-part series that started in November 2018 and finished in February of 2019, it's still eligible because the last piece of it was in the contest year. That same example, if it started in November 2019 and is slated to go through 2020, it would not be eligible. Does that make sense to you all?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
All right. So now we're going to upload our attachments. And so you can, and I'm just going to take a PDF. I would recommend that you are downsampling your PDFs. There's no need for it to be, the highest resolution possible. We're not printing these. They just need to be clear for the judges, and it helps to be loading. So you can attach as many files. I think I want to say you can attach up to 20 files. You can also use links. So it's really up to you. You don't need to do both. In fact, it's confusing if you do both. But you can choose whether to do PDF or links. If you upload a page, just make sure it's crystal clear what the entry is so that the judges can find it. And if you use a URL, make sure that you're putting your login credentials in so that the judges can actually see it. So this year, BNC has a new feature called Browse My Scrapbooks. If you haven't been using it this year, I would just hold off and wait till next year. But you can put potential entries in your scrapbook throughout the year, and then you already have kind of your body of work. And that's useful. I think some publications already do that informally, but you can now do it through the platform. Okay, so just want to make sure I've gotten everything there. The number of pages down here in comments, credits, and other information. It really doesn't matter what you choose. It's just meant to show how many pages you have.
Yeah.
But no one's matching up.
That's for the front. That's our last one for the front.
The important part is that you put something there, because otherwise it'll invalidate your entry, and you'll have to, and the form doesn't save everything. In comments, you can put anything you'd like to share with the judges within comments. You're not required to put comments in. However, if you're creating links, you do need, and you have a paywall, put your login credentials. Otherwise, I get so many calls from judges saying, I can't access this entry, and sometimes I worry that they don't even try. So do yourself a favor and put your login credentials in. You can credit up to 3 people per entry. It can be staff, it can be, Susan Smith, Rebecca Snyder, Kevin Barrier, whatever you like. And then finally, you need to, I'm just going to put my name in here, and finally you are submitting the entry. So you just click I am not a robot, submit your entry, and because I've now done 2 entries, it's making me an official contestant manager, which is exciting. And so that means I've entered often enough that I can authorize another entry person in my organization and so forth. Oops, sorry, for some reason it kicked me out. I think because it wants to validate me as a contestant manager. So you'll get to see this in action. When you finish entering your, oh, I'm sorry, it wants me to validate my account. Bear with me, guys. We're all, I didn't expect it to upgrade me, but it must be after you've entered two entries, it wants you to become a contest manager. I'm going to quick verify. Okay. And now you notice my login screen is a little different. And here I have to look for the MDDC Association contest and choose my my publication. Okay. Let's see it. I don't know if it remembered my password. Let me put it in again. Okay, so I'm not going to edit my contestant manager. There's all sorts of things you can do there. Going back to manage my entries. And so you can see here that I have a total of 2 entries. If that's all I was going to put in, and you can go back as many times as you like during the contest cycle. You haven't submitted anything. You haven't validated anything yet. And you can edit those entries. You can disable them or just delete them. So think of this as your holding tank. When you're finished, you want to calculate your entry fee, and all entries are $15 each except for our public notice category, which is free. And the public notice category are articles or pieces written specifically from the legal notices in your paper. So here you can pay by credit card or check. You want to select entries, select all to pay all your entries. I'm now up to $30. I can pay by check or I can pay with credit card. Either way is fine. If you're paying by check, you don't have to put your check number in, but what this tells me on my end is that I should expect a check in the amount of $30 from your publication. You want to make checks out to MDDC Press Association, and there's our mailing address. It's a P.O. box. So that is the whirlwind tour, and it does really feel like a whirlwind, of how to enter MDDC's contests and some tips and tricks that you might want to keep in mind. I want to end with this slide because it has our final details. You know, all information is at mddcpress.com/events/contests. If you get in a tangle or have any questions, please feel free to call me. You can reach me by phone at 443-768-3281 or by email at rsnyder@mddcpress.com. So that is my whole spiel, and I just want to check in. Do you guys have questions or things that you need me to address in our last few minutes?
I have a question. I don't know if this is a subject you were going to bring up, but I was curious to know if you could just get a feel for which are the entries that get the most applications and which get the least entries.
Sure. Oh, that's great to know. We do keep detailed records on that year over year. Off the top of my head, it's the features profiles across all the divisions. You're usually looking at well over 100 entries. For the editorial categories, our least entered categories are going to be online and social media. I think people are still developing their capacity for reporting in those mediums, and we get fewer entries in video as well. But the profiles are a really competitive category. Investigative reporting is competitive. And I would say, excluding online and video, in the editorial side, you're probably running 30 or 40 entries across all the divisions per category. On the advertising side, I think that's still developing. We don't have as many publications participating. I think partly because they're getting a lot of camera-ready ads. So it's not as competitive there, but the publications that have ad design departments take that contest very seriously. What other questions do you have? All right. Well, I see I don't want to keep you too long. I know we're clocking in at 31 minutes. If you have questions or need anything else, I'm always here for you. And I really appreciate you coming out and joining me today.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Thanks, Rebecca.
Sure thing. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.